Hey, I'm James Reynolds and you're tuned into episode 4 of Ask a Sherpa, the Q&A show that answers your most pressing SEO questions. Okay, let's go to our very first question of today. This one comes from Loy on Facebook, who asks, in your opinion, how has local SEO changed in the past 2 years? I actually think the biggest change in local SEO is probably happening right now, and it's a movement away from traditional factors like links and citations towards transactional factors as a way of measuring a business's popularity. So what do I mean by transactional factors? I mean things like a click to call from your Google My Business listing. I believe it would be things like a check-in or store visit, either measured by an Android device or the Google Maps app on iOS. It would be direction requests, whether that be through the app or whether that even be a request for an Uber pickup from that location. And finally, it would even be things like credit card transaction activity happening from a business premises. All of these things are data that Google can capture and measure to assess a business's popularity. Now, how much are Google using this data at this point? It's pretty difficult to say because we don't have a full degree of visibility on that data usage, but having measured the correlation between things like links and citations versus rankings within Google local search, it does appear that there is a shift, and I think that's probably a really good thing. Okay, let's go to question 2 of today. This one comes from Julie on Facebook, and she asks, how do you rank in the search engine results pages if search engines don't publish their algorithms? Well, Julie, yeah, you're dead right. Google and other search engines don't reveal the inner workings of their algorithm. But to be honest, we get a pretty good idea of what they're looking for through various excerpts that they've put out over the years, whether that be Google's search quality rater guidelines documents, or even the reveal on a Google Q&A call where they said that links and content and rank brain are their 3 most important ranking factors. I also think that, to be honest, in SEO, a reasonable amount of common sense goes quite a long way, because we do know that as a search engine, Google are looking to serve their users the most relevant answer to a search query. And if we produce content that provides the most relevant answer to any particular search query, we're probably going to be in a reasonable position to get ahead. But here's the most important part. As SEOs, we do want to test our assumptions, because the information that certainly Google puts out there sometimes is, well, a little bit vague or incomplete or not entirely accurate. And we really want to get to the crux of what's important through various SEO tests and various SEO experiments. So I'd encourage you to thoroughly read up on all of the SEO experiments that have been done over the years to really understand what's most important when ranking a website. And actually, I put a little post out about this a little while ago. I think if you go to Google and search SEO experiments, it should pop right up, or just visit the SEO Sherpa blog. That will be a great place to get started. Okay, let's go to question 3 of today's show. This one comes from Jim Martisia on Twitter, who asks, what is keyword stuffing and how do I know if I actually am keyword stuffing? Well, keyword stuffing is essentially the practice of repeating your target keyword multiple times in a document to somehow make it more relevant to search engines. Now, here's the short of it. It is still a good idea to use your keyword in key elements on the page, places like the page title, maybe even the page description, headings, URL, and certainly your content. But increasing the frequency a keyword is mentioned is probably not going to increase your chances of ranking. How do you know if you are actually keyword stuffing? Well, if your content sounds like a load of garbage and has been written to sound like it's going to be good for search engines as opposed to humans, then that's a really good sign that you are engaging in keyword stuffing. Okay, let's go to the 4th question of today's show. This one comes from Ramon, who asks his question on LinkedIn, and he asks, how is local SEO different from normal SEO? and which is more important? Well, local SEO is essentially optimizing for queries that have some form of local or geographic intent. Examples of those would be things like restaurants near me, Chinese takeaway, or Chinese restaurant in Dubai Media City. All of those have localized or geographic intent. Normal SEO, or otherwise referred to as international SEO, refers to optimizing for queries that have no geographic intent. So which one is going to be better for you? Well, literally it depends whether you're trying to optimize for a local audience because that's where your customers are based, or whether you're trying to optimize for an international audience because your customers can be found the world over. Okay, let's go to today's fifth question. It comes from Valiant Bonnet on Twitter, and the question is, what is Google's blacklist and how do I avoid ending up on their blacklist? Well, Google's blacklist is a term used to describe getting penalized or banned from Google search results. And it can either happen algorithmically or it can happen manually through some form of penalty, which will show up inside your Google Search Console. If it's happened algorithmically and there's no warning, you'll probably find that literally overnight that you lose 95 to maybe 100% of your organic traffic. And a few searches on Google will result in you just literally not being found anywhere. Now, how do you avoid this? Well, basically, don't engage in anything shady. Don't engage in anything that would be defined as black hat SEO, which basically describes anything that's against Google's terms and conditions or their guidelines. Big ones tend to be buying links, especially those from big networks like private blog networks, and things like serving search engines one piece of content while serving users another piece of content. All of these things are pretty dodgy, as you can imagine, and should totally be avoided. So what I'd recommend is just engage in proper good marketing, follow along from the advice that you get here on this show, and you should be in pretty good stead. All right, that's a wrap on episode 4 of AskASherpa. Remember to subscribe to the SEO Sherpa YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of these upcoming episodes. And if you've got an SEO question yourself, you can either post it in the comments below or post it anywhere on social media using hashtag AskASherpa, and I'll be sure to answer it on an upcoming episode.